We are live. Hi, guys and girls. Gallifrey 497 here. Welcome to today's live stream where me, Philip, and Adam will be reviewing the Series 11 finale, the Battle of Ranskoor and Kolos. So how many times you say it, I'm still not going to get it right. Again, as always, I'm joined the brilliant Adam and Philip. Say hello, Philip.
Hello, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is.
Whatever time you're watching this, yeah. And of course, Adam North Behavior.
Yeah, it was a very sad season finale, but I'm sure we'll be back in 3 weeks because it's not the next episode is not too long to go. So yeah, finale time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've had longer waits. Obviously, we're gonna have a really long wait for Series 12, but we'll talk about nearer the end. So just before we start into the review, I'd just like to try and do show you guys the new Series 11 DVD box set, and also they're doing the new. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this, but so now you pre-order the Series 11 box set, and also there is a new a separate release for the New Year's Day episode called Resolution. You guys picking up the DVD or Blu-ray for the Series 11?
I get the DVD from Blu-rays, but I'll get it. I won't rush out and buy it when it's released, but I'll get it eventually because I'll get them all eventually. But
yeah, are you tempted by the New Year's Day special one, or is it you kind of
that it's not on the same box?
Yeah.
I hate it when they do that. I want my winter special on the box set.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so annoying. Especially, I can understand if we would try and get out before Christmas, but now we're waiting pretty much a month afterwards. It's a real shame. But even if they obviously the want to make money, obviously on the separate release. But even if they sort of did put it onto the box set as well, and having those options, which would be quite nice. But yeah, so let us know in the comment section if you're going to be picking these up. I'll probably try and I don't know. I would say I'm going to get a still book, but I'm not. I want to be too convinced really with the artwork for it. I don't know if you guys seen that. It was quite. I don't think they did much to it, to be honest.
It does kind of match the soundtrack, doesn't it?
Yeah. You guys pick up the soundtrack at all?
Probably, because honestly, the soundtrack was probably one of my favorite aspects about Series 11. I think Sagan Akinola's. I think there's a lot of like good stuff, like Woman Fell to Earth when she's building the Sonic, and always done kind of different cool character motifs. I think Sagan brought a whole lot of cool music to the show, like so much memorable tracks. So I'm sure to pick it up, and I think it's like a tenner on pre-order, and there's like a nice little booklet and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of a sucker for a soundtrack, so I'll probably be picking up when it's released, like early January, along with the box set, I assume. I think the box set and the soundtrack don't, I think they're a couple of days apart. But I'll probably be picking that up. If not, I'll definitely be streaming it.
Yeah, there was a preview track released on Spotify, and of course the Fish People's YouTube channel have also released a kind of music video type thing, just doing like a montage of clips, which was really nice. So, yeah, so January's kind of where all the Series of merchandise is coming. You got the new figure coming out as well. So fun. Yeah. It should be awesome. So let's have a quick look at the comments, see who is watching. Hi Slipknot. There you go.
Wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know we outreached the band Slipknot. Hi Corey, is it Corey? I think it's Corey.
I don't know. I don't much.
I think he did the voice of was it the flood? Before the flood.
The Fisher King. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That raw. That was him.
Yes. Did you? Yeah. The behind the scenes stuff that was hilarious. But yeah, so that's all the kind of new stuff done. Let's crack on with the review. So obviously Sunday we had the series 11 finale, episode 10, the Battle of Ranskoor and Kolos. The synopsis reads the episode: the team tries to discover 9 different distress calls, all coming from the same location on an unknown planet in the far future. Little does the 13th Doctor know that the very first enemy has survived throughout the centuries and is looking to get revenge upon her in a crueler way than there's even imaginable. There you go. That's quite a spoilery synopsis, actually. I've just read. It wasn't before the episode. Quickly, first off, obviously we kind of talked about our thoughts pre the episode. Did it drastically change afterwards compared to like your opening thoughts before going in and afterwards? Like, were you surprised, disappointed from what you'd expected? Starting with you, Adam.
There was a couple of things I wanted going in, and I got the fist bump, because I was going to give this episode a 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
We didn't get it, so we got it. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
I definitely feel I was more satisfied in the second half with the Ryan and Graham stuff, and I quite like. And I guess they introduced earlier on that Graham literally pulled the Doctor aside and said, "Look, I'm gonna shoot him," and I thought that opened up something really interesting. And I did feel for that moment that was the storyline I was definitely attached to the most. I think everything else was kind of just generic and off the ball. Even like Tim Shaw was a little, I guess, he's sort of built on from his first appearance of Woman Fell to Earth, but I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have done a lot more with him. Is considering they just lock him up in a Davros style like Destiny for Daleks, they just lock him in a stasis chamber at the end anyway. I just felt I think his presence. I think he could have been a bit bigger. I think more of a bigger presence. But he has a nice cloak or whatever he was wearing. That kind of Game of Thrones thing he had going on. But yeah, I definitely feel like with strands with Ryan and Graham but Yaz and the Doctor are bit off.
There we go. Brilliant. What about you, Philip?
Compared to I don't know why I expected going in really, but I think it was an okay overall. It was kind of an okay episode, but it wasn't much of a finale, other than the Graham and Ryan stuff, which was kind of the natural end to their sort of arc that they've had as characters over the series. So that little bit kind of felt like an end, and I suppose bringing back the character from the first episode bookends it nicely. But it just didn't quite have the oomph factor that you kind of expect from a season finale, I think.
Yeah, as I say, before going into it, I think I was expecting something different than what we've seen before. But I think with this one, I think we played it quite safe. Obviously we knew that the New Year's Day special was coming, and we were going to get all the companions back. And we kind of expected with Tim Shaw. I'd say it was an okay story, I guess. But in terms of finale wise, I don't think it had that kind of punch. I can't remember if it on. I think it was Jenny's review. She does Doctor stuff on YouTube and that, and she said it felt like you could obviously sort this episode around with. It didn't really feel like a finale type episode. There was obviously like character beats, which I guess kind of goes with obviously Chimmel's vision. But as a finale, I don't think it worked as well as what we've seen in the past. But obviously, we'll get into our thoughts. Obviously, opening up the story, we're introduced to the Ux, which are these two ancient people that can move rocks and create stuff with their mind. Which was, I'd say, the CGI wasn't too bad for the rocks, I don't think. The characters' names were Antonio and Delph. And of course, we see him at the start. Tim Shaw teleporting to the planet. And obviously they become a bigger part of the story. What were your thoughts on those two characters? Were you satisfied with their how they integrated to the story? Starting with Philip.
They were kind of interesting. I thought there was stuff that they could have explored with them that they didn't necessarily explore as much as they could have done. They had they touched on a nice theme of exploring, faith and devotion, and how that can be manipulated by outside forces and corrupted in some ways. And I think they sort of touched on that, but they didn't really go into it in any detail to make it interesting. And they kind of flip-flopped, well, the woman especially, flip-flopped between suddenly this guy turns up and suddenly he's the creator, and then she goes, the doctor convinces her not to follow him again really quickly. It didn't seem very, very genuine and real. I think that should have taken a bit longer, and they should have focused a bit more on exploring that theme, and that might have been a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say with Andu, they are quite like god creatures, and I don't see how they would have been threatened by kind of Tim Shaw, But like you said, she did flip a lot. You kind of didn't know. You couldn't really invest in her because she was kind of just swapping all the time. You didn't really know what she was doing. But yeah, like you said, I think it did have potential to the start, and you think, oh, this is cool. But yeah, it just sort of turned out into a weird mess. What about you, Adam? What were your thoughts on those two?
I guess the way we talk about them, it does kind of remind me that they could be Jedis for all we know. But it's the Doctor Who's answer to Jedis, the thing to do with faith. And as you say, like moving rocks, I kind of just thought, yeah, very Jedi-like. But they didn't have lightsabers, disappointing. But the actors were good. I think my mum was very happy to see, I think, Phyllis Logan. In there, I think because we had that coming soon trailer, and she's like, oh no. So I kept kind of looking out for certain actors that was pointed out by my mum. Was like, this person's been in this and this person's been in that. And yeah, Phyllis Logan, the female, forgot her actual name. I get the names mixed up, but yeah. So they're all right. But sad they're not Jedis. I don't have a whole lot to add outside of what's been said.
Fair enough. So obviously the Doctor and team get the distress calls, 9 to be precise, and then we're introduced to Patraki, who's obviously played by Mark Anderi, I think. Addy. There we go. Thank you, guys. So obviously he's been in Game of Thrones. Full Monty, got a big British actor. I quite liked his part. I think he acted it really well for the sort of what he was on screen for. And you do. I just want to say you had sympathy for him at the start. What were your thoughts on his character, starting with Adam this time?
Yeah, I really liked Mark Addy in the role. I think he gave a good amount of humanity to him. It's kind of I was kind of felt just like worried how he can't remember. He suddenly lost. Like he was part of this crew, I believe, or there was part of or something. I'm now just like this. I guess this episode didn't leave out Mark. I'm just like I'm getting facts confused. My bad. But he was part of this crew and just kind of regaining really the sense of who he is, I think he's very convincing in that Peltraki, I believe his actual
Peltraki, I think is his
Peltraki, yeah. So yeah, he was good, and I think he fit the role quite well.
What you, Philip? What were your thoughts on his character?
I think it was a strong performance from him. I think he did a really good job. He was kind of the second half of the episode. It felt like he was a bit pushed to the side of the story a bit, but I don't think that's necessarily a major flaw. I thought he was very good when he first came in, and he was doing being a bit crazy and didn't know, very skitterish. I thought that was all performed very well. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously he had that kind of memory loss thing at the start, and the atmosphere at the start was really good. I thought with this episode, I think that was. I'd say the direction of Jeremy Charles is a really nice kind of atmospheric kind of piece of just with the acting and the direction as well. I thought it was great. I'd say obviously then they giving the little mind blockers, which is kind of making all the people on the planet. I'd say the one to say one of the things that was, again, it was a great idea, but I would have loved to have seen maybe the Doctor and maybe one of her friends go through kind of the experience of the planet, like that he was going through. Would you guys like to have seen that? Maybe that idea explored more, or are you kind of fine with not exploring that? Philip.
Yeah, it does seem odd that they, made a big thing at the start about like this planet will mess with your mind, so we need to have these things on, and then the only sort of real hint of that we saw was Mark Addy briefly, and that was it. That felt like it should have been a more of a threat, and it felt in the end that it was an excuse to have the devices on them so that they could use them on the Ux later.
Yeah.
Instead of actually being there it was like a plot device, really. Whereas it could have been something interesting to explore and actually increase the threat if they'd actually done anything with it.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they even like lost one. And one of them had to like not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, what were you adding? Would you like to see an idea explored more?
Well, I think I was thinking, coming back to sort of previous finales, like I think sort of the ones that I kind of find weaker are ones that just have the single episode to kind of wrap everything up. Like I could definitely see this being a two-part if they want to like expand on ideas, add a bit of tension in there. I think this episode definitely could do with that kind of effect. And of course, most finales have been two-parters, with like the odd exception here and there, but I definitely feel like if this was a two-parter, it'd have the room and it would be able to do that more effectively than sort of what we have just in this single episode. So yeah, I feel like I really missed the cliffhangers because we did have that one at the beginning. And I feel like even if we had like episode 9 sort of tangentially linked, you don't have to have it incredibly linked. You don't, but if they were kind of on the same page of what they wanted to do, sort of near the end, kind of bookend it, then I think that would have been, I think, a much better option just for concluding the series as a whole. So yeah, I missed the cliffhangers.
Yeah, I'd say like what we mentioned last time. Obviously we with the woman who fell to earth, we had an amazing shocking cliffhanger, and we obviously never got one since. So, yeah, I see what you mean. As I say, obviously the best ones have been kind of the two-parters. But obviously this series has been kind of going for the standalone type thing. But yeah, that would be a nice idea to explore. So going on to obviously our main cast. We've got Jodie playing the Doctor. I say I think writing Rise. I think she had a few moments, obviously when she was sort of challenging Graham. And then she obviously had sort of said about the bomb devices that she found. She was like, "Oh, don't sort of preach what I preach to you back to me," which was quite confusing. Type thing. And obviously, the highlight for me of the episode was obviously her end type speech, which I felt echoed a kind of William Hartnell-esque ending, like this is the first ever series. I don't know if that was a purposeful to do that. Where obviously then the Reign of Terror does this kind of speech about the universe and
Destiny to the stars. Yeah, I really like that speech too.
There you go. I think Joe did a good job again. I think her performance depends kind of on the episodes. I felt this series. What were your guys' thoughts on Jodie's and sort of moments that you liked with her Doctor? Starting with Adam.
Some episodes you have I guess it depends how many Haribo she has sort of before going in, whether she's very hyper and very up for it, or maybe that. But I think she was good. I think she was good in this story. The end speech was very nice, as you said, quite a nice kind of heartily sort of speech at the end. And I liked her scenes with Graham. I liked the conversation. I thought there was a good amount of the relationship could be damaged. I thought that was kind of probably the only part. I felt like the only part I was really like intrigued about. How if Graham, I knew, I guess, kind of after the conversation had that he isn't going to be perfectly honest, because playing it safe, and he's in Resolution. Everything seems to be fine, like in the next trailer, unless I don't know, something, he shoots him and then keeps it a secret, which I would quite like, to be perfectly honest. Maybe he shoots him, and Doctor and Yaz don't know. Maybe it's like a thing that him and Ryan sort of have. That's kind of a secret. It'd probably make it go in a darker direction, but he shot him in the foot. Fair enough, but yeah, I thought she was very good. It was more about speech and the stuff with Graham. Other times she was pretty fine.
Yeah, I say that's a quite good idea actually. Like, obviously, I don't think Graham would, but I could imagine if they did ended up killing Tim Shaw and they kind of lied about it, that would have been a really nice type of thing. Because I say, like you said, that scene with the Doctor and Graham, was one of the most tense moments of the episode. What are you, Philip? What were your thoughts on Jodie and the first you talked to this episode?
A bit mixed with the last one, because you did have those really good moments. So but you've mentioned them already. So the bits with Graham and that confrontation was all really great. Best bits of the episode, I think. And then the speech at the end and things like that. So she had some really great moments, and then she had some moments where it was, and this is down to the writing, I think, is mostly exposition. Like when she actually comes face to face with Tim Shaw again, it's that whole scene was just exposition from both of them, just back and forth exposition, and it was a bit of a mixed bag for her this week, I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's such a shame. And I know, obviously, last time, you kind of wanted that moment you were still looking for. Did you find that episode, or go miss?
Not yet.
Fingers crossed for resolution.
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'd say, kind of the star of this episode, and I think the whole series, Graham, obviously played by Bradley Walsh. Yeah, no, you put it through his paces. You obviously had that contemplation of him going to kill Tim Shaw, possibly, which was, as I say, one of the nice overarching kind of things. Yeah, I'd say a lot of people have argued that it kind of doesn't work. The kind of like, killing somebody else to get revenge doesn't work out. A lot of people said that because Tim Shaw's such a bad person, it kind of doesn't work. It's the same principle, I guess. But what are your guys' thoughts on that criticism? Starting with Adam.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Fair enough. I guess. I think sort of going into the Graham stuff, I kind of felt like sort of later this series, the Grace thing, because in Arrakis in the UK, it's established that Graham sort of went on board to get away from the grief, and then I guess it's interesting that episode 9, episode 10 sort of brings it back, because Grace is back in the kind of solid track form, and then sort of he sees Tim Shaw, then kind of if he shot him, I guess. Maybe that would say you could say like his character arc was done, because I think he kind of shot, he got his revenge, and that would sort of be the end of it. I could imagine, and the Doctor wouldn't be too happy anyways that he go back. But I'm still like, I guess in the fact that he sort of came across his wife in the Solid Track universe, maybe, I don't know, like, would that be? I'm surprised he wasn't pushed to be like, maybe I'm ready to go back. Maybe there's sort of a part of me that, it's dangerous out here, kind of thing, that maybe he'd maybe it's something he might contemplate in the future, like whether maybe things are going too far, whether because the thing is he's getting challenged out there, and perhaps it will get to the point where he gets too much, or he might meet his demise, which we thought might have happened this series, because Bradley Walsh is the multi-million entertainer. He's got an album, he's got like comedian, got the chase going on, so I was kind of worried, but it seems that he's staying on, which fair dues, man.
Yeah, no, I think it has been confirmed that they're all returning for the 2020 series. So, again, no kind of threat for the resolution episode. Yeah, what were you, Philip, on the character of Graham?
Well, I think I've said this a lot, but I think Bradley has been the standout of the series. And again, here, it was absolutely brilliant. I love that moment where he's Doctor, and it's like, Doc, I need to speak to you, and just tells her up front, if I find him, I'm going to kill him. And I just love the kind of determination on his face, and not in a kind of like, he wasn't even, it was kind of a quiet menacing in a way. It was kind of just like, I'm going to do this. You're not going to stop me. You won't have a choice in it. I'm going to do it. And I just loved the way he played that. I thought it was really good. In terms of whether or not the whole, whether or not the argument of, is it right to kill in revenge, or is it even if the person's bad and stuff? In fiction, I always find it a bit annoying when people take an absolute blanket black and white view either way. It's that, somebody who says, no, you should never kill anybody under any circumstances. That doesn't seem realistic. But equally, somebody who would go around killing everybody, every villain, also just doesn't seem very sensible. So, and that whole argument that is often made of, it makes you as bad as them if you kill them, I don't buy, because if you got a mass murderer who's going to continue mass murdering and you can stop them by killing them, then that doesn't make you as bad as them. But but that, so on that I'm a bit iffy. But the way he decided not to in the end felt very true to the character. He didn't not do it necessarily because the Doctor couldn't do it. No. And he had that line at the end that when they're back in the TARDIS, and I think it's when he's back in the TARDIS, that he says, the Doctor asks him about it, and he says, I couldn't, or I wasn't brave. What was the line? It was like, I didn't have the courage or something like that.
Yeah, couldn't go through it. Yeah,
it's like, even in his mind, he still wanted to do it. He just couldn't quite bring himself to do it. So I like the way they did that at the end as well.
Yeah, no, like you said, it's like I said, it's kind of like a black and white type situation. Like, do you mean there are sort of like shades in between with that type of thing? But yeah, obviously, I say, yeah, I think if Graham, I don't think Graham could have done that based on his character throughout this series, But yeah, it's a nice idea to explore. But yeah, I think Bradley Walsh sort of portrayed it quite really well. Kind of like you said, that scene with the Doctor and him, it was kind of like because he's kind of that innocent person, for him to go down that route. And it, like I said, wasn't in a menacing way of like, I'm going to kill him. It's just kind of, he's doing what he thinks is right. So, so yeah, going on to the other two companions, we'll go up to about Ryan and Yaz as kind of like one kind of chunk. Yeah, so obviously Ryan has some amazing moments with Graham. Obviously, last episode he established his sort of granddad official status. And I say it was a real. I felt he took on the role of his grandmother, and sort of inspiration from that. Really, trying to embody her sort of thoughts and emotions, kind of like sort of her moral conscience through Ryan. And of course, they got the fist bump as well. Yaz, yeah, I'm so disappointed really with the treatment of Yaz. Again, it's just sure, really. It's just like I'm hoping with series 12, we do get her more of the forefront, really. Like, obviously, at the end of this episode, we kind of get the resolution of Graham and Ryan's type relations. I really hope she does, but it's such a shame she didn't get more to play with. So yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on Ryan and Yaz's episode, and I guess Yaz as a whole, this series as well, if you like? Yeah, start with Adam.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get Yaz done because I haven't got a whole lot to add. I think Madam Gill's given a great performance, but not enough material to really go on. I don't think that there wasn't really an arc or anything to conclude on her part, which is quite a shame. But I hope she does get more on series 12. I definitely feel like this is an opportunity to kind of shake up the dynamic with the TARDIS team now. Maybe Ryan and Graham will kind of not sink into the background completely, but be there, supportive, kind of chip in now and again. Now that their kind of arcs are done, I think Ryan had some great moments. Ryan says that he loves Graham, which is very heartwarming. He's because I love you and everything. They had a really nice conversation, and of course they had this one. Tosin Cole was very good in this episode. Absolutely. I don't know if there's a whole lot else, but yeah, I definitely feel you know, I just look forward to seeing where else they kind of go now that everything's kind of well, I kind of say wrapped up, but sort of I guess that whole Tim Shaw, that kind of everything through the whole Grace arc is wrapped up for the moment. I don't think there's going to be much more, not like you know, like a whole lot, but like there'll be subtle references to Grace, I assume, throughout the beginning. But I definitely think that the whole episode was, the whole series rather, was definitely about the theme of you know, grief and getting over and sort of traveling you know, but Grace sort of has that. She was, I guess, maybe the series link in a way. The fact she kind of popped up there at the end, and then you know, Graham's whole arc was, do I finally take out my revenge? Do I and you know, that he'll have a sense of completion, you know, if he had done it. So I definitely think now that that's kind of, you know, that's been answered. I guess it's this series equivalent of, do I have the right? So you know, now that you know he's done that bit, he's like now he kind of drops it, sort of like Tom Baker did in Genesis of the Daleks. You know, I guess you know, Grace will still be there, but in kind of little subtle things, and we'll move on to a new challenge, which I just look forward to knowing what that will be.
Yeah, so I think this TARDIS team's been amazing this series. Like I said, I think now we've kind of resolved the primary issues. I think it's kind of like the adventure side thing, maybe the drama of that. Yeah, I'll say I'll quite quickly mention actually. Now you mentioned about sort of overarching themes. I bought a new TV guide for the Christmas thing, and there was an interview with Amanda Gill, and she said Resolution will tie up loose ends from Series 11. So I don't know what loose ends there are.
Yeah.
Because they're not really, as I say, only like the Timeless Child comes to mind. But I was quite an interesting thing. I don't know, you know, because I say, obviously with the finale, obviously we've got kind of character resolutions, but there's obviously been no overarching thing. So I don't know what that would mean.
I think what I'd add to that is, I think when it comes to resolution, I guess, and this could be me being cynical, but maybe I'm not interested about like the Timeless Child anymore. I think they've kind of left it too little, too late, and there hasn't been enough strands or really anything properly to kind of keep it going. So if they kind of tack it on him, the New Year's Day thing, I think he's just like, well, I'm not really interested anymore. That was like months ago now. But you know, maybe they'll do it, or maybe, you know, something else. I don't know what else they really kind of mentioned other than that. I think it's just like the Timeless Child, and you know, I think that's practically what we have to go on.
Who could come back from the villains? Only really Krasko got sent to the Dawn of Time or something, didn't he? So maybe he could come back.
Yeah,
not that annoying little squirt from that episode that was not liked.
Yeah. No, yeah, as I say, I was reading it, I was going like, what loose ends? I don't, yeah, like I said, it's Timeless Child's gonna throw everything, you know. Yeah, Philip, what's your opinions on Ryan and Yaz?
Ryan had some good stuff again, mostly with Graham. So he was it's kind of, his storyline is very much tied up with Graham, so you'd kind of expect that. So there were some lovely scenes between the two of them which were really good. And then Yaz just was there. She's never bad. She's not like it's not badly acted. It's not she often even has, sometimes she doesn't have anything to do, but often she still has stuff to do, but she hasn't got, as you said, Adam, she doesn't have a story arc of any kind. She doesn't have a character arc. She's pretty much the same person as when she joined the TARDIS team. With very similar relationships and things like that. So that feels a shame, especially considering the Doctor, when they joined the TARDIS team officially, she was like, you won't be the same after this. Well, I kind of feel like Yaz is the same. She's not, she hasn't really fulfilled, whereas Graham and Ryan's relationship is growing closer. There's been no developments on her, I think, which is why I think we really need something in Series 12 that really focuses on her. There's still that possibility that they might do a Yaz and Ryan relationship. Maybe that could be her arc in the next series. I don't know. Or no, you don't like that idea?
be perfectly honest, I get it, and there have been subtle hints in the series. So if that's the direction they want to go, then that's absolutely fine. I don't see any reason not to. I think if they did it this series, it'd be definitely tacked on and a little rush, I'd say, just to kind of set up a couple near the end of the series and kind of like push them forward in that sense. So if they want to like properly set it up next series, then sure. But if it was definitely on the lines of this series, or if they introduced it earlier next season, I think it'd be like, oh wow, you kind of just started that and it sort of came out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah. But what I'd also quite like to see from her is something that some kind of character arc which develops from what I thought we were going to get because of the very first episode where she's, sitting in the police car wanting a bit more interesting stuff rather than just domestics and, people who smashed each other's cars through because of a dispute, that kind of thing. She wants a more exciting police life. Something that kind of somehow ties into that. I don't know what that might be, but something like maybe she even like ends up leaving the TARDIS team at the end of series 12, but her arc on that has taken her to a point where maybe she leaves but doesn't go home, but stays in the future and joins, I don't know, police cops or whatever. I don't know, something like that. Just something that kind of pulls on that thread which they set up in the very first episode but never explored.
No, I'd say that. Yeah, as I said, it's just been kind of Yaz on the pause button, really, which is a shame because I think Manic Girl, what she's done and the stuff seen her before has been amazing. But I don't think they've just given her anything really. Like you said, they've all had kind of story arcs. Well, I'd say it's kind of been, even the Doctor's not really been any kind of development with her, is there? It's just been. Again, it's just been the kind of like Graham and Ryan's been obviously the focus, and obviously that's been developed highly. So, series 12
with Doctor, it's almost like she's spent the whole season in kind of her post-regenerated state. She's been every couple of episodes or so, she'll drop in a thing going, "Oh, I do that now," or "Oh, I say that now," or "Shall I try that?" "Oh no, that doesn't work." And it's like she's still spent the whole season trying to work out who she is, which we'd normally get in like an episode or two max. I suppose in a way Capaldi did in a bit with his Am I a Good Man over a series, but it just feels like she's kind of had that whole post-regeneration thing for the whole series as opposed to for one episode. So
I agree with you on that one. Yeah, I thought her arc, like this is the mini arc, that she'd eventually get annoyed with Graham for calling her Doc because Stephen and Tegan, they didn't take too the Doctor didn't take too lightly when they did it. Kindly refrain from referring to me as Doc. Is probably something funny like that. Also, where's the custard creams at? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, we got teased with custard cream dispenser and it never showed up again.
Yeah, just like the Timeless Child, like, oh my word. I definitely feel like there could have been more recurring stuff. I think there could have been like stuff. There was kind of stuff there, and I don't know. They didn't really go with it.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot this series, isn't there? It's kind of like there's been a lot of like bait to kind of draft onto, but everything's just been kind of like, nope, not for nothing. Yeah, as I say, going on to the villain of this episode, obviously, is Tim Shaw, who returns from the woman who fell to Earth. I say I really liked Tim Shaw in the first episode. I think as a first opening episode villain, I think he did great. Real creepy. I think the actor did a great job, and he did this episode as well. But this episode, it just didn't work for me really, to be honest. Like Philip said, obviously his first scenes with Jodie was just exposition. I found it really hard to hear what he was saying. I don't know if that was sort of part of the performance, but I just heard it was like the revenge, and it was kind of like zone out on certain words. But yeah, I just think at the end, obviously, he was kind of played for laughs. Obviously, with Ryan shooting him in the foot. And obviously, like as Sam said, the Davros type ending of Cryogenic. So he may return in the future. I don't know. But yeah, it was, as I say, I can say it was just when he's first introduced back into it again, it was just sort of exposition about the planets and that stuff. So, what were your thoughts on Tim Shaw's return? Start with Philip.
I think he was overall wasted. He's a great can be a great villain and very menacing and powerful, but we didn't really see that. And I know he's meant to be poorly, and the DNA bombs have affected him quite a lot, but I mean, he was quite good. I thought when he was just over the comms and you could just hear his voice, and you had that one bit where he, did his hand thing on one of the crew, and you just saw his hand.
Yeah, the opening, yeah.
And he's quite creepy over the comms, just hearing his voice. But as soon as you saw him in person, you had the big long scene with the exposition, and then you had Graham and Ryan taking him out without any effort at all, and without him even seeming to try and do anything about it, which just kind of destroyed his credibility as a worthwhile tough, big, aggressive foe, which was a real shame. I think they massively wasted him in the episode.
Yeah, so as I said, there was potential, but yeah, I agree, it definitely was wasted. What were you, Adam?
Yeah, I definitely think out of the villains this series to return, I think he'd be pretty much my #1 pick. Well, the Fajarians, that I guess that maybe those two, or the Kablam men. Maybe the Kablam men could have showed up on that planet. Maybe that's the kind of thing we were kind of thinking throughout this whole series. That, is it going to be like this Justice League Dark kind of Super League of Villains, Sinister Six kind of? Where everyone's. But you did have the sniper bots from the Ghost Monument thrown in there as well. So I kind of just thought maybe this is just going to be like this haunted house kind of. Oh, look at all this! There's a Kablam man over there. There's like the Vagarians over there, and it's kind of like spot the villain kind of thing for his episode. But we had 2, so fair enough. Yeah, I think he's probably done by the same guy as well. Samuel Oakley, I think, played him first time. So I think he did reprise as well. I didn't check the WikiLeaks or anything, but yeah, the voice is good, and he holds a great presence on screen. But I think it, nothing. I don't know. I just feel like he could have. There definitely could have been a whole lot more to his motivation. Definitely, I think there could have been something stronger than just revenge. I guess because that's kind of that's kind of just it just felt generic. But yeah, maybe because it was established that when you put Davros in cryogenic sleep or whatever that suspension, he'll come back later. It's very obvious. So maybe he's Chris Chibnall's Davros. You kind of lock him away for an episode and then just kind of wheel him out for whichever story you want to do. So maybe we really haven't seen the last of him. Maybe they could build something stronger, but I don't know. I kind of feel like you could have done it this time around, but they didn't. So but yeah, sure, he'd be all right, I guess. We do see him some point down the line.
Yeah, I think I was trying to thought then. Yeah, I think if he was to be brought back, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what capacity. I think if he was just more of a threat, I guess. But I said there's a really sort of creepy scenes at the beginning. But yeah, I was to say massively wasted. So I say the actor I think did a brilliant job. But yeah, again, it's just sort of wasted scenes with him, which is such a shame. Yeah, I was to say, Adam, I quite liked what you said about the kind of just the kind of. I know, obviously, we kind of jokingly said that, but I think if he had that so much time, like maybe he could have actually retrieved the kind of villains that disappeared. Like I don't know, because you got. Yeah, I don't know. I like that idea, but obviously just wanted to use all these patterns. Going on to the plot now. Now I'll say I don't know about you guys, but when I first saw the pro images of these sort of massive white crystals, the key to time came to mind. I was always sort of going in the back of my head, like there was kind of 6 of them. I was going, what's going on here? So, but of course, there was 5 of them, and they were miniaturized planets. Inside these crystals, and they couldn't be in the same place at the same time. And I'm still trying to sort of comprehend the kind of what the actors were doing. Yeah, what did you think of that? Yeah, just kind of the end sequence with that. I say also the Earth thing as well, using the weapon. I say that's too much. just really confused stuff. Yeah, obviously we had they built this weapon to destroy Earth. I think I have to say I think that could have worked if maybe they've shown people on Earth, like maybe in Sheffield, like people seeing like, oh my god, look at this like red sky, what's going on? Even Yaz's family, that would be quite nice, something like that. Yes, what do you think? Kind of like the third act and all that stuff. Start with Philip.
The plot was, I mean, the scheme wasn't. It was an interesting idea. I think somebody, I haven't seen it, but somebody compared it to the Pirate Planet. I haven't seen the Pirate Planet. Is it similar? I've seen lots of people say, "Oh, something about stealing planets was in the Pirate Planet," but I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
It's quite possible, actually. I think you might.
Yeah, I think it sounds similar. Yeah.
But I thought it was an okay plot. But I think they overcomplicated it, like you said. The way they were explaining it with the whole not being able to exist in the same, and they overcomplicated it. You know, they could have kept it quite simple with the stealing the planets and the Tristan thing. I think they bogged it down with a bit too much technobabble, which then kind of lost us all a bit, I think. So yeah, it was all right. Not a bad plan, I suppose. It's an interesting idea. But the stuff with the Earth, if it had a couple of scenes of people looking up, I wouldn't want anything like major, like earthquakes or anything like that, but just like some people looking up and seeing a red sky and going, "Oh, what's going on?" Yaz's parents or something. But Yaz's nan. Let's get Yaz's nan back.
Yeah.
You know, somebody doing that might have made that scene a bit better as well.
Yeah, as I say, obviously it was this. Obviously, like I said, it just would be nice to have seen the effect of. Because you just saw this kind of CGI planet, and it just didn't really resonate. What were you, Adam, about the final act with the planet?
Yeah, I definitely feel like this would have been an opportunity for Yaz to have a proper reaction, like, "Oh shit, there's gonna, my planet's, it's in danger," and I'm surprised. I guess we had a little bit of that, but the fact that their parent, we see the parents actually. I actually see them in Sheffield. I think that would have definitely added more emotional weight, definitely to what Yaz. This time's of the essence, and Yaz got like a ticking bomb, and it kind of moves her, motivates her to really, and really keeping her two fingers crossed that everything is going well, and the doctor's going to manage to save the day, as they all do as a unit, which would be great. It did. I think when the doctor was doing her thing of the TARDIS, it's nice to see the TARDIS kind of being used rather than just kind of that thing they kind of hop about. We had some there's like a nice kind of panning shot around the console where Jodie's kind of just she's doing one thing in one section, they kind of move and then do another thing and another thing, and the nice little references to Stolen Earth and Boomtown. They were quite nice. The fact what she said, I once moved Earth back to its original position and turned a Slovene back into an egg. Quite nice references. But other than that, a whole lot else. It has been mentioned, everything. It was a decent kind of conclusion, but at the same time, just a little like, oh yeah, that's happened. I think definitely if we had seen more of the gravity of the situation, I think that's kind of what we've missed. We've kind of seen sort of there's something going on, but that we don't really get a whole lot of sense of gravity situation, so it kind of just feels a bit meh.
Yeah. That's one word to describe the episode. And obviously, of course, once it's kind of all resolved, obviously you get sort of the TARS team just going back onto their continuous adventures. Did you like that ending with them all just going off on an adventure? Would you like some kind of continuation into Newsday, or just open thoughts really? But what about you, Philip? What do you think?
Yeah, I do kind of like the Russell T Davies era. What type of, the cliffhangers that we always got leading into the Christmas special, whether that be Titanic bursting in through the TARDIS walls or Donna Noble appearing out of nowhere. I miss those. They're a nice little kind of lead into the Christmas specials. Are quite nice. It's a shame we don't get those anymore. We didn't really get them. We didn't get them in the Moffat era either, but it'd be nice to bring back, I think. But
I guess we had David Bradley pop up at the end of the last one.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think you can kind of top that in level of sort of Doctor Who fandom. But yeah, I'd say maybe some sort of well, obviously you've got the trailer, but you know, but yeah, I'd say, is there any other moments you want to mention? I think we've covered everything. I believe.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, all I can really say is we got a really good trailer, but of course that's something else.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Yeah, so I guess overall thoughts. Yeah, so as a series finale, I don't think it worked, to be honest. There was some amazing character moments, and I'll say that's what this series has kind of excelled on. Yeah, there's some really nice, obviously, character resolutions with Graham and Ryan's kind of story arc. Obviously, we had Tim Shaw returning, which I feel was, I say, like a wasted opportunity, really. They could have done much more with him, made him much more of a threat with some more actions he could have done. But he sort of gave some of his exposition and went away from his plan. Like you kind of think he want to stop then sort of the air stuff, and rather sort of saving all these spare pilots. Yeah, I say it was an okay episode. There was similar to kind of last week's, I guess. There was a lot of ideas thrown in, but I don't think this episode explored any of those ideas really. So it was an okay episode. There was a nice atmosphere, but as a finale, I don't think it worked as a whole, to be honest. Yeah, just quite underwhelming, really. I say, well, the first time I watched it, I say, 'cause obviously you sort of don't know what's kind of going to happen, so there's a lot of stuff. But second time around, knowing all the stuff, taking that sort of all that tension away, it was just kind of a bit of a bland experience for me, really. So yeah, kind of not a nice note to end on the series, which has been. It's some really nice sort of substance in the series, I think. There's some really nice moments. There's a great episode. You know, obviously every series has ups and downs, but yeah, I don't think it's able to do justice to what the rest of the series has done as a whole. But yeah, so obviously, hopefully, New Year's Day special, which looks amazing, delivers that. So yeah, what your guys' overall thoughts on the episode? Starting with Adam.
The Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos. It might be the last time I say that name. I don't know. Maybe it will come because oh my god, that name has just been horrible to me. Just like, how do you say it? But as the episode is, I think it's interesting. I guess because we do compare it to the standard of the previous season's finale, and I guess in that sense, it doesn't necessarily all the conventional things you think about a finale. I guess are absent in this, but then again, everything's been like new and blank slated anyway. The way they want to do the finale, sort of the way they want to do the finale, I don't think you necessarily. I don't think they necessarily have to hold it to the standard that Russell and Stephen had done it past few years. So even if it's just kind of the standard, if we saw like more of the gravity of the situation, like as you said, more things with Sheffield, and I think they kind of built it up to a proper, proper tangible kind of oh my god, we must stop him, we must and keeping all these arcs and everything. I definitely feel like it would stand up a test of time to its own standard instead of just having, because you don't have to have the Daleks have to come back or Simon has to come back, or you have to do a multi-master or a multi-doctor story. You don't have to do anything. You can keep the fan service to an absolute minimal and still do something really good as long as it wraps the character arcs up and we're into a proper not end of the world, but kind of proper threat, I guess, but which were a bit absent in the story. The performances were very solid on the whole. That is definitely to be expected. Particularly Gray and Ryan scenes were definitely more of the standouts in this episode. I think probably kind of more kind of everything. I think like the Ux and Tim Shaw, they definitely kind of fell under the radar for me compared to what like the stuff with Gray and Ryan, because it is their episode, even though it's like Tim Shaw's comeback. I kind of just feel like it's still really the heart and soul of the story. Yaz, I definitely feel like she needs to get some more material because Mandip Gill is very good. I think she's a very good actress. I think I think she clearly enjoys. Mandip Gill enjoys being Yaz, and I'm sure with the more material she got, she's definitely going to sort of hold it with two hands and really go with it, which is great. But Doctor, yes, I think there is still a lot of room for her. I guess for many people, they'd want her to face up Dalek or Cybermen, because I know, like Sylvester McCoy said, "Oh, I didn't think I was a Doctor until I faced the Daleks," which, you know, fair enough. And I say with Philip, I sort of echoing him, like she's still going through that post-regeneration thing, even to the end of the series, which is, I guess, yes, you argue that Amalgam Man Capaldi sort of had that too. I think, you know, I think I think it doesn't help with the references of, oh, I'm doing this now, this is new. Even to that, I'm still getting used to everything. There are still like that kind of. She does have those lines. I think if she's more convicted and convinced, which I think she sort of did, sort of start to near the end with the lovely speech. She could be really good, sort of going forward. But I guess I haven't necessarily seen that other yet. Maybe we'll get it in a New Year's Day special and going forward. But yeah, this series has its highs, it has its lows, as is any series. It's definitely been really interesting to see how other people have reacted, because Doctor Who's definitely going into some more adult directions in terms of drama. It's sort of not necessarily dealing with your conventional stories, some of them, and then some of them sort of, oh, you're happy. I think they've got a good balance of historicals and sort of space age episodes and stuff like that. So I think if you keep that balance for the next series, that would be really good, because I think that's definitely its strengths. It's the kind of variety of places and things that these characters are doing. They definitely vary from episode to episode. As of this episode, I think it's there. It's not really what I'd go back to, but it's more like the character stuff, I guess. But not really a story or anything to go on. I'm gonna say 5, but I don't know. Like, I kind of thought of 4, but I think that's probably a little too low. I really don't like it, but I do kind of feel like I'm remarkable all the same. So I think for now I'll go for a 5.
That may change. What are you, Philip?
Yeah, it was an okay episode. I think which had a mixture of good bits and bad bits. There was the best bit being Graham and his whole story arc in this. He had a sort of arc even within this episode, but also his arc that kind of culminated over the whole series in this episode. That was all brilliant stuff, and definitely the highlights of it. The weaker points were the script writing in terms of the heavy exposition. It was a very heavily exposition written script throughout it wasn't just that scene with the Doctor and Tim Shaw. That was just the biggest example of it, but there were other points in the episode as well where it felt very exposition heavy, so it let itself down a bit there, but there were some nice bits as well. And yeah, Yaz wasn't used, but again, that's a reoccurring theme. So I don't know, it was kind of average, but not a great season finale. An average to good episode, but not a great season finale, because it didn't have anything that felt. I don't think the world needs to be like the whole Earth or the whole universe needs to be in danger, but there just needs to be some kind of upped stakes, whether or not that could be personal stakes as well. But there just didn't seem to be anything that was. Yeah, it just didn't feel like a season finale. So I mean, overall, I'd probably give it I think I gave it a 7. I think. So which is on par with a lot of the other episodes of the series. It was just a fairly consistent with this series, but average episode, I'd say.
Awesome. Cool. Great stuff. That was the series finale review. We got there in the end. 10 episodes done. But of course, we have one more before our kind of hiatus for the year. And obviously, January 1st, 2019, we have Resolution, which, judging by the trailer, I think even though this series has looked very filmy, Doctor Who looks stunning in with all the montage stuff of all the different kind of battle zones. And what were your guys' thoughts on the trailers? Like, for me, I kind of got more of a kick out the trailer than I did the kind of whole finale. Which is quite a bad way to say it, but what were your guys' thoughts on New Year's Day trailer? Start with Philip.
It looks exciting, definitely. As ever with these trailers, they don't show you very much, so they haven't. The whole series to get hardly any shots at all, really, and it just felt like we weren't getting very much. But what we saw was good. Whether or not all of the good stuff is in the trailer is another matter. Who knows? But no, it looks quite interesting. Everyone is assuming that the most evil thing in the universe, or however she phrases it, is a Dalek from the DNA that they found. And I think certainly everything looks to be pointing that way. But I personally kind of hope it isn't a Dalek. And I think I'm fair. I think I'm quite alone in that opinion. I think everybody seems to be wanting the Daleks back.
Yeah.
But I think bit more of a rest. I like the idea that they're having a rest and that they weren't in this series. And I would like them back next series, because every Doctor does need to encounter them. And I think Jodie does need to encounter them relatively soon in her run, but not quite yet. I would save them to the season finale of series 12 or something, or even just an episode in series 12. But I'm kind of hoping in vain that they won't be in the Christmas, not Christmas, New Year's special. But I think all the evidence points to the fact that they are.
Yeah, as I say, no, I can understand I'm waiting off a bit longer. I see what you mean. But yeah, as I say, the trailer. But there again, though, the Pating was like the most feared creature in the universe, so I assume we could go like a psych. But yeah, the trailer.
Maybe that's it. Maybe the Pating's back.
Yeah, the hologram just like
buried under earth.
Oh goodness, yeah. What about you?
The mere thought of it. Do you know? I think one of the funniest things when the episode ran, when we had the credits, we had like a little next time trailer where the Doctor. I think she said like one line, then it cut, and then we got the actual trailer or something along those lines. It's kind of weird because that's literally. I swear that's probably now the record of the shortest next time trailer we've ever had. Because there was that bit. She's like standing outside the TARDIS and says that kind of. Some brave line. I don't know the line, but of course, the main sort of meat of the trailer is the actual sort of TV like trailer that we actually got after the episode itself, and it shows a lot of interesting visuals and cool stuff. It seems to be jumping about time a bit. I'm looking forward to that. They're definitely building up a credible threat. Could be a Dalek. I don't know. Maybe the Cybermen. Maybe just on Taurus. I don't know. I quite like a returning monster, and maybe it doesn't have to be the Daleks, but it could be maybe middle tier, kind of low tier. I don't know. Maybe the Axons are back. I don't know. I think like everyone, you just go. We can just kind of. I love the kind of running wild, thinking maybe it's a returning monster, but maybe it's not that. I quite like it to be, and I don't know. If they do bring that back the Daleks, of course, here's the thing: will they redesign them? I think, yeah. I don't think they're going to necessarily bring the bronze ones back that we kind of used to. I quite like it. I quite like the kind of silver blue, the kind of grey, kind of blue, kind of 60s kind of color design, or whatever you do. I don't know. Don't make them big, bold, the paradigms that we had with the multicolor. I think with that design, actually, I'm going on sort of a Dalek tangent. I think if they kind of sliced off the back, if they didn't have so much of a hunch, maybe sort of. I actually quite like the fact they were tall, but yeah, I think if you modified that design, then they would work. Particularly the fact they're multicolored. I think that was a controversial aspect of their design as well. But the Cushing Daleks were as well. So
I think there was a really good fan designed one that I retweeted a little while ago, and that it was the bronze Daleks but recolored, and it was recolored to the classic sort of silver and blue, but it was done in a very metallic way. Yeah, so it was silver and blue in a very metallic, like the new series ones are. And I thought that looked really good, and I kind of hope they go in that sort of direction. So they still look very tank-like, but with the slightly the color scheme, but slightly the old color scheme, but more metallicized, if metallicized.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Those colors definitely sort of evoke more War Machine kind of like, and I've seen like custom ones at conventions. Like I've seen like you kind of have like the R2D Daleks, and they kind of recolorized them. I've seen them about at conventions. I thought, oh, they'd look quite cool. I quite like the Necros design, so the kind of 80s. They appeared in Revelation and Remembrance. Those kind of white Necros Daleks. I thought it's kind of a white gold kind of prestige. I thought that would be quite nice. I think we've had the bronze ones for a while. I think maybe just a recolorization. I think you could maybe still keep the same basis of the design. You could make them taller if you wanted to, but I think that's what I quite like. There was that Victory of the Daleks when Matt Smith sort of looking sort of straight at the parallel. They did feel like, oh shit, like it did work quite well, them being a little taller. So I wouldn't mind if they did make it a little taller. Maybe they just have a bigger fender, sort of like is it the Supreme Dalek from Invasion Earth? I think, which had like a kind of a massive. I know I'm looking at Reese's figure because I know that Dalek is that actual Dalek that was released. It'd be on the other side, like the Hartnell section. Just go. Yeah, this is fun. Just looking at Daleks and.
Is it that one? Is that you mean?
Yeah. Actually, yes, I would quite like that too. Yeah. Actually, no, the John Pertwee ones. Yeah, they look great.
Yeah, because that was they actually used the movie Dalek Invasion of Earth one as a base for that, and then they just painted it gold and had the new ice store. But yeah, that's the reason they got that one for that story. So yeah, it's quite a weird one because like. It's quite funny because before the series, people were saying, "Oh, no Daleks, no Daleks," but now we've had like the whole of Series 11. I think I don't know if people feel deprived. It's quite funny because like going into it, people were sick of them, but everybody seems now to be going like, "Yeah, bring the Daleks back, bring the Daleks back." I say, yeah, just the trailer alone, it is obviously pointing to that. But I say, if it isn't, I would be kind of like, okay, but you kind of got to prove, as long as it proves that kind of threat, that's fine with me. So, but I don't know if I don't know because Chibnall said before, didn't he, that there were no Daleks as
I remember he said at Comic-Con we've got 2 weeks left of filming and the Daleks haven't appeared yet. So maybe that's a tease that we have 2 weeks left of filming. Let's just have 2 weeks of Dalek filming. Just film lots of just like complete Daleks. We'll have some of the actors come in every now and again, but it's just like a Dalek mania. 2 weeks, just like no sleep kind of filming where we just have nothing but Daleks, and now if we get that, we just be like, now we're sick of them. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, another thing he said at Comic-Con, I think it was at Comic-Con, was that he said something along the lines of, because somebody asked him about the Daleks in the Q&A, and he said, well, we've filmed 10 episodes and they haven't shown up yet. Well, this is the 11th episode, so
yeah.
Very true. I'd say of this trailer, I'd probably agree with everyone else. It's probably like the best. Like it was really well edited, and there was like I think because the trailers, next time trailers and TV trailers we've had, they've been pretty good and pretty. But I think there's been a lot of hype around this specific trailer, sort of what it shows. I guess the grander scale of it. Not you just kind of have that medieval kind of bit, and then you have like the car chase. I definitely, because this episode, of course, being a special, it's probably going to be one where it goes all over the place. It isn't just kind of sort of based in one specific place or dealing with one specific thing. It definitely seems to have a lot of strands, maybe loose ends from Series 11, but maybe its own kind of story strands of where the characters are going to go and what the ultimate goal of the episode is. I don't really know a whole lot about the story apart from the fact there's a terrifying even they got to face it, and also scarves, winter scarves, because. Yes, I love it because I think there's a lot of people who've now gone to Paul Smith and bought themselves dirty scarves. I've seen them, and it's quite cool actually. But I know like Paul Smith's been a running thing throughout Doctor Who. Like I know Capaldi's, like some of Capaldi's stuff. I think with like custom stuff from like that place anyway. And I think they've like sold out now. I remember like when that first picture of Jodie with the scarf came online. Like it kind of sold out, and I think they've like been restocking. I think my mate Adam from the Geeks Handbag went into a shop and he said, "Oh, it's because of this Doctor Who thing. Like it's kind of like popped back and everyone's just like in demand for them. So I don't know. Maybe they're the new Levarzi.
Who knows? I was going to say, if it does turn out to be the Daleks, do you like the way they've been advertising it as a mystery, or would you want to know now?
I think it's brave of them if it isn't, because if they built it up, sort of like the Bating, I think that was brave, the fact that the most feared thing, and it was a Disney Channel monster. So I think it's brave if it wasn't the Daleks and they did kind of built it up that way. A lot of people would be angry, but I would kind of laughing and just be like, "Ha!" Yeah. But if it is the Daleks, and that's to be expected.
What are you, Philip? Would you like to know now, or do you mind? Do you like the speculation?
I don't mind not knowing. I don't know if it might help them from a publicity point of view if they did reveal it. I get why, from a storytelling point of view, you wouldn't want to, and I don't mind not knowing. So Chris Chibnall probably wouldn't want to, but I imagine if the Daleks are in it, I reckon there were some interesting conversations between Chris Chibnall and the publicity team going, and he probably had to persuade them not to reveal it, because I think they will have wanted to, because it will inevitably, if they reveal in advance that the Daleks are in the episode, it will inevitably help the numbers on the day.
I do wonder, because of course maybe the Daleks will come back. Will it be Nick Briggs, or will they find someone else?
Oh, I hope it's Nick Briggs.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been involved like this series like at all, because they've been like other monsters and other different kind of voices, and he's kind of used to sort of doing the kind of reoccurring roles. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 instances where he sort of voiced a kind of original monster that was created, and not just like the Dalek side men. I don't know. I think he did the Zygons and the Ice Warriors possibly as well, like here and there on the odd chance. But it's really sort of the more recurring ones. But I don't know. I mean, in the classic era, we've had sort of different ones, and we sort of had sort of more. Some actors have done it more than others. So maybe, but I think you just have. I think, particularly the modern era, I think there's no one else but Nick Briggs for the job, really.
Yeah, they've kind of set that precedent, haven't they?
If they bring back Brian Miller, who did them in Resurrection in the 80s, Elizabeth Sladen's husband, maybe he might do it. Or John Leeson, who did I know John Leeson did the Dalek battle computer in Remembrance. I don't really, because that's the kind of thing. Like, I don't know who else you could get him, but I guess when you hear that Dalek voice, it's like, there they are. But then that kind of familiarity that it is Nicholas Briggs doing them, like he did, of course, the previous 4 Doctors on screen. Yeah, 4.
Well, I guess we'll find out on New Year's Day. Just the last subject now. Obviously, 2019. Obviously, we'll be getting Resolution, but that'll be the only episode we'll be getting in 2019. So, pretty much straight away after the episode was finished, they announced that Series 12 will be returning in early 2020. So, I don't know, February to April, anytime in that kind of the time span, which obviously it was kind of like a gut punch here, and I was like, oh no, like you kind of obviously it's only a few months after obviously originally Series 11 has aired. I think it's a real shame. I think as a whole, it's kind of like the momentum that I think they've built such momentum with this series. I don't know if they have to build back up to it when Series 12 sort of comes, kind of like a gap year and they come back. I was going to say kind of obviously quality obviously for me comes first. So if there's obviously taking time to do that, but looking back on previous series with Russell and Moffat kind of doing multiple shows and do you know what I mean? I say obviously Chibnall's kind of main focus is Doctor Who. So what are your guys' thoughts? Start with Philip. Would you say quality, or do you want it?
I don't know why they would do it. I can't think of a reason why. It doesn't. The only thing I can think of the reason that they might be doing it is because the people involved want to do other stuff in between. But maybe Chris Chibnall wants to write another show in between. Maybe Jodie wants to go do loads of stuff in between, or maybe it's to fit around Bradley Walsh's chase commitments. I don't know. like a massive waste of the momentum that was established in this series. You know, big publicity, new Doctor, new creative team, a lot of buzz about it. Whether or not, you know, and people are talking about it, you know, whether or not they're talking about it positively or negatively, it's being talked about. But fast forward, you know, a year's time from now, is that still going to, when we haven't had an episode for a year, is that still going to be the case? And they're not going to be able to build up the same weight, but the same publicity as they did this time round, because there's not going to be a new Doctor, there's not going to be a new creative team, there's not even going to be any new companions. It's just going to be more of the same. So, yeah, massive waste of the momentum.
Yeah, so, I see what you mean. It's kind of like, obviously people's already invested, but like you said, obviously a lot of people tuned obviously because of sort of Jodie's casting. But I think going past that, I think it's kind of like you said, that kind of new thing to draw in fans. I don't know how. Obviously, with Chibnall presenting this series, it's kind of quite formulaic of being like, these are standard episodes. You can join in on the ride. I don't know if that's going to be. Do you know what I mean? I hope next series they do try some new stuff and kind of more like, obviously we as new viewers as well have got invested in these characters now. They can sort of hopefully play a bit more with them. But yeah, Adam, what are your thoughts on the 2020?
Yeah, I think I'm not so gutted, like personally, but if I am looking at it from a general audience standpoint, I would definitely be like, oh, because I think they definitely kept momentum going, and you know, I think after everything, you know, they probably want it, you know, later this year. I mean, of course, they're not expecting anything sort of, I guess, early this year, but of course, I guess what would be expected would be a sort of October 2019. That would sort of be, of course, if they had the series, it would be later, and it would kind of be in the same slot, kind of the same thing. But I think pushing it, I think when I think about it this way, because like between like October and sort of January, February, it isn't like too much of a wait. And I like we were having this kind of discussion about if there's a New Year's Day special next year, and then they basically air the series sort of after that or around that. Sort of soon after, so maybe New Year's Day specials episode 1 or something for 2020, and it definitely seems that that Christmas slot is definitely gone. It's not kind of chopping stop. You know, it's not decided. Oh, we'll do a New Year's one, then we'll do maybe Christmas next year. I don't think they can. I think they've lost it a little bit. That kind of gut punched a little more, knowing that we didn't just lose it this year, but I think the fact that yes, it is confirmed that, you know, we won't be having it really at all going forward. And, you know, fair enough. They want to, you know, change up the slot, do something new. But I think we've had longer waits, like between season 22 and Trial of Time was like 18 months, and then like the Wilderness years and everything. I think they can build the momentum. I think that you can do like trailers or like little mini-sodes, or, you know, something like Children in Need sort of around that time as well. I can imagine definitely around sort of the time it would be on, they could potentially find ways to build the momentum again. I don't think it will be gone, you know, completely or go drastically, considering like The Woman Who Fell to Earth got the highest viewing figures for quite some time. I definitely feel like the audience they have built are quite dedicated, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, but they'd definitely be turned off by the time Series 12 comes around. I think maybe I'm just building too much faith here, but I don't think it's too bad. And personally, I think it's absolutely fine if they want to do the best series they possibly could, especially if they're fitting around a lot of other stuff in between. Like I just looked at the Christmas guide. Bradley Walsh is not just doing the chase. There's like a lot of like documentaries and cool other stuff he's doing. He has other projects. Also, I want another album from Bradley Walsh. If we get another album with Bradley Walsh and Series 12, I think I'd be spoiled, to be perfectly honest, because that would be absolutely fine for me. You know, if it means we get a cool lot of stuff other than Doctor Who, like other projects that Jodie wants to be involved with, or Mandip, or Tosin, or Bradley, you know what? Fair dues, man. You know, because they're really talented and deserve to like get out there. You know, outside the program, I think it'd be quite cool just to see what else. Because I think like Mandip and Tosin are kind of the rising stars, you would say. Like I look forward to seeing after Doctor Who. So maybe it's a chance to build on that. So I'm not too bad. And also, like, it's cool. We can do another Doctor Who marathon. We can start from Earthly Child and go forward and do all that. But yeah. Also, we got. I guess for us diehards, we got classic DVD box set, classic Blu-ray box sets. We got Big Finish and all that stuff for us diehards. So as diehards, we'll be alright. But I think for general audience, I think they've built something pretty faithful. Considering, I feel bad for absolutely kind of rambling, but I think what was one of the most highlights of Series 11 wasn't Series 11, but the children in need bit with that girl who clearly she loved Jodie's Doctor, and she was so the excitement on her face to be the Doctor and meet Jodie and sort of the other sort of young girls and the young people that they've kind of reintroduced or introduced the show again. I think we've built another loyal fan base other than sort of us who've been around, like, I don't know, since the revival and way before the original series. So yeah, I'm not too bad about. I don't feel too bad about it, but I understand the concerns for people who maybe are a bit concerned.
Yeah, if it's your pressure to judge the show, it's kind of like, yeah. So Doctor Who fans, with this thing of like hiatuses, you're going to experience it now for a year.
Exactly.
So your dedication. Yeah, before we go, just look at a few comments about tonight's live stream. ISO99 says, "I wish Graham killed Tim Shaw."
I kind of do too, but I do understand. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that would have been if he did that. I think it would have been good if he kind of kept that a secret. That would have been interesting for Series 12, and then to find out that would have obviously destroyed like their relationship, because obviously the Doctor would have hated that. And Gone Again says the similarities of the pirate planet was that planets were being shrunk and saved. The reasons and methods were very different. Okay, and so it's kind of just the same kind of concept of that. My understanding says he says the next series we're starting in January 2020. It's only a 3-month delay. Yeah, they said early 2020, which is sort of like you've got like a kind of time scale roughly. So I don't know. It would be nice maybe if they do start New Year's Day, and I know Luther's doing that this year. And Matt says, I don't want to be negative, but wasn't this the worst season finale of the new series by just at least a little? Yeah.
Well, which Matt? Do you know?
Sorry.
Which Matt?
Oh, not Matthew from Who Addicts. No,
Oh,
just
right.
Just a random Matt.
Oh, a random Matt. I see. Yeah, I know a few Matts from the community, so I'm just kind of thinking.
Right. Just go for yours. Going. Not that one. Not that one.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. That's our live stream on the finale of Series 11. I'm not going to say the title of the episode again. Thank you again, obviously, to Philip and Adam. Been really amazing co-hosts, and it's been great sharing our opinions on the series this time. And of course, got one more episode before we have to kind of go to hibernation for 2020. Yeah, I'll say a quick shout out to Philip, who's I believe you're doing an interview. Finish actually. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'm recording tomorrow an interview with Jane Slavin, who is the new Fourth Doctor companion in the audio adventures, Fourth Doctor audio adventures. I think her first box set is out in January.
Oh, so yeah.
I don't know the video out, but I'm recording it tomorrow. So if anybody has any questions, tweet them to me. At IUDEX_Phil, and I'll try and fit them in. I've got quite a lot already from people, plus all my own questions. So I don't know if I can't guarantee I'll fit everybody's in, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, at least have
that'll be on my channel at some point, hopefully before the box set comes out. But that sort of depends on how long it takes me to edit it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to kind of coincide with the release, I guess, like in January. So, but yeah, so if you do have any questions, send across the Flip. Not a guaranteed use, but every little kind of helps. So yeah, thank you again for joining us tonight. Obviously we'll be doing a review of the New Year special once that comes around at the start of 2019. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoys Christmas now. If I don't see you again, I'm sure we will. But yeah, obviously subscribe to Adam Latuvian and Philip Hawkins for great, amazing videos. yeah, so everybody has a great Christmas and a new year, and we'll see you all again to review the first episode of 2019 resolution. So as always, guys and girls, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.